Good evening. Welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. We're 5 rounds into the season. 5 been and gone, an international break, and things are starting to take shape. So I know the boys are pumped to be here tonight. Looking back, all 3 of our teams in the winners' circle. This is becoming more frequent. And also celebrating a little bit of a milestone. We have hit that 400 subscriber mark a couple of minutes before this episode. So big ups to all of you for subbing, for getting a mate to sub, roping in mum, dad, husband, wife, whomever. We truly appreciate it. And for us, it's an absolute blast. I am joined by the lovely RJ, the super Rob. Let's kick this show off. How are you, RJ?
Fantastic, boys. Forget the movie 300. It's all about 400. That's the milestone. And we scraped, we dug, we fought. I've been watching the show SAS. I'm not sure if you guys have been watching it, but I feel like it's been a bit of a war zone to get here. So give ourselves a little bit of a metaphorical and physical tap on the back. Chelsea continue to dominate and become top of the Premier League. So buzzing to be here, gentlemen.
And Robbie, how are you, man?
Good as always, boys. Always look forward to Tuesdays to see yourself and everyone in the live chat. Again, like you said, all of us got back-to-back wins, all away wins as well. That's always a bit of a bonus. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to the show tonight, boys.
Absolutely. Good times. It's good to see that we've got the usual contingent here. We've got Tom in the house. We've got Ben here, my Blues brother, Daniel Chafari. We've got Declared Concierge of Crime, my fellow Regista brother, and Georgie. We're all here, and we all must be pretty buzzing, if I'm not mistaken, because, like you said, Rob, 3 away victories. I saw a tweet earlier today as well that talked about when Arsenal a couple of weeks ago, they were obviously bottom of the league, no goals scored, no wins. And since that tweet went out, Tottenham had actually been in reverse order, no goals scored, no wins. So it's funny how in the space of just a couple of weeks, the tables can completely turn. So, Scott, mate, you're looking rejuvenated. What's going on over there in Gunnerstown?
Mate, I'll tell you what, after the first 3 games, I was... And I messaged you boys in the group chat. I was just feeling flat, hey. We all support big clubs, and I mean, there might be the banter. Arsenal aren't a big club anymore, but you're not used to losing 3 on the trot. Like, I can't remember losing 3 on the trot ever. So we're hit hard, but we pulled out a really, I wouldn't say convincing result, because 1-0 away. It came off a beautiful free kick by Martin Odegaard.
It was a sweet hit, wasn't it? It was a really sweet strike, I've got to say.
He just stepped up, struck it beautifully, and we needed it because we still are struggling to produce goals from open play. And even though I've got that joy from, a couple of back-to-back victories and clean sheets, in the back of my head, I've just got something holding me back saying, keep your cool. Don't get too excited. You guys know I'm pretty realistic. I'm not saying we'll be challenging for the top 4, but keep your cool. You still really haven't scored from open play. So the attack really concerns me. But we did what we had to do. We came away from Burnley with 3 points. And it's not an easy place to go and play away. I know they hadn't won there for 13, but, mate, they will kick you up and down the park. They're rough as guts, so...
Yeah, for sure, Scott. I think, look, as an objective neutral here, I've got to back you. I thought Burnley, we know what they do well in terms of having that real strong spine and keeping things nice and tight and compact at the back, obviously underpinned by the very stable and very well-disciplined Sean Dyche, who, congratulations to him, has extended his contract, so well done to Burnley on that, by the way. It's nice to see in a chaotic world that's professional football and managers go out the door every 5 seconds. It's nice to see a club sort of stick by their man. So full credit to them. But in that particular game, and I know you put out a great reaction video, one of the topics for discussion, and a big shout out to VJ for Sports for joining us, by the way. Nice to link up again, and almighty Blues FC. Nice to have another Blues in the house. Just on your particular game, Scott, I know you brought it up in your reaction video. One of the subjects for later on is around the refereeing standards and the leniency and sort of the differences in interpretation and opinions. So that's just for the live chat's benefit. we are going to touch on some controversial calls and just the panel's thoughts around the ground regarding some of the refereeing decisions. Specifically for this game, though, VAR intervened, was an important call at the time. You were steadfast in your opinion that it's definitely not a penalty. Give us your thought pattern at the time, because I know you cheekily said, being an Arsenal fan, you're not really confident that you're going to get the rubber to green. But could you have understood if they stuck by the original decision, or was it stonewall, no penalty?
I would have been foul. Like I said, I don't expect anything. We don't wear the right shade of red for the refs and VAR to be on our side. That's Robbie's shade. But it was simple for me. I try and break down a decision like that into the most simple manner possible. Was there contact on the ball? Yes. Did the contact on the ball come before the contact on the man? Yes. Was it dangerous or reckless? No. It was as simple as that for me. And I thought Ramsdale had another really impressive game. I wasn't over the moon about his signing, but he's slowly come in and he's done a good job. He's done what he had to do. And I thought that challenge was A-OK, to be completely careful about it. It was clean. He got the ball first, and it wasn't dangerous or reckless. So,
Robbie?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that, mate? Do you agree?
No, I agree, man. I agree. Like I said, I'll be a bit later on. I'll be bringing up quite a few of the refereeing decisions over the weekend. I'll wait till we get to that. But yeah, like I said, in general, my quick point of it is over the whole weekend, I think it was quite poor. So yeah, we'll definitely dive into that a bit later on.
Yeah, and we'll move on to another sort of game that I thought, to me, was quite interesting, and it's neutral for all of our three teams. But I was really intrigued by the Leeds-Newcastle match. To me, that was really, and it was at a good time for us to watch it. And obviously, we've got a couple of good friends that follow Newcastle and is well on social media with the Leeds contingent. But yeah, just a really entertaining sort of end-to-end sort of flow of it. Robbie, I'll get your thoughts on that one first.
Yeah, well, the first half was like a basketball game. It was literally end to end. It was so attacking. Both teams were having a go. Two nice goals, especially I don't know if it was a little bit of a fluke, but the Rafinha one, I don't know if it was a crossover shot, but I think the dummy was worth the goal at the end for take the keeper out of the game. And then, mate, I'm gonna say it now. I don't know how Alan Saint-Maximin is still at Newcastle. How they're gonna hold on to him? That guy is such a talent. And if a big club doesn't come in for him, I think everyone's crazy because he's just so talented. And without him, I don't know if Newcastle is even going to stay up. It was a really good game, man. It kind of died off a little bit in the second half, but I thought it was quite a good game in the end.
And I think with Alan Saint-Maximin, the thing that would scare me, and I can see Shano's in here, he's a Newcastle fan. I'm sure he'll correct me if he disagrees. But if I was a Newcastle fan, I would be... I wouldn't have any confidence that if a decent bid came in, they would sell him straight away. They would cash in. I can't remember Newcastle ever digging in their heels under Mike Ashley over a player. So I could see if one of the big boys chucked, 30 mil, 25, 30 mil, I could see them letting him go. And he again was electric. If they can keep him on the pitch for the full season, he'll be right up there in terms of stats. With some of the best midfielders in the league. So, to me, the biggest story is Leeds, and I can see David is missing tonight. I know he'll watch this on replay. He must be having a night off. But I've said a few times, I do feel like Leeds is on the down. I feel like Leeds are on the down. Not that they're going to get relegated, but they're not going to achieve anything near what they did last season. Bielsa is so stubborn, plays one way, and I think people have figured out Leeds now. I really do.
That's interesting, though. And it's a good comment here, Tom, and always very insightful for a United fan, I might add, tongue in cheek. But look, Scott, we spoke about this last night with Miz on our other collaboration with him. The problem with someone, or not problem, but the thing you have to appreciate with someone like a Bielsa is that, like Maurizio Sarri and Conte to an extent, they're steadfast in their approach. It's the highway, or like where we live, the Camden Valley way, in the sense that there is no room for flexibility, and much of their success is built on sticking to their core principles. But the problem is, and I totally agree with what you then said, Scott, to round out your point, is that there comes to a point where other teams just figure you out because they know you're a dangerous team and they've done their homework now. So at some point, there needs to be some level of adjustment. It doesn't have to be wholesale, but even in-game, like Tuchel, we'll talk about Chelsea, but the difference between someone like him and someone like Bielsa is the fact that one approach might work well for 10 out of 10 games in a row, but game 11, the opposition has a different approach. And guess what? You've got to tweak it slightly. Otherwise, it's not going to work for you going forward. So I'm not in the camp of Leeds are in the bin or anything like that because I'm not reactionary FC here. It's a 38-game season. It's 5 games in. Perspective is important. But what we have seen is a trend where they do play very exciting football, but until they learn how to really tighten up that transition risk, which is the biggest thing they are exposed to, they're going to find it really difficult to start recouping those points that are going to become so vital. Robbie, your thoughts?
I agree. When I've brought up a few times, like as Thomas said, like he just continuously, like I said, very his way or the no way, very stubborn. And like I said, a lot of people give him the plaudits for it. Oh, he plays nice football. But at the end of the day, football is a results business, and he's not getting the results. So I don't understand why, he's not getting that little bit of pressure because, Leeds took 16 years to come back to the Premier League. And yeah, okay, it's only, like I said, early days. We're not being reactionary, but 2 points from 5 games. If you look at how they were last year, they were playing the same football, but they were getting some results. So there was no heat on Bielsa. At the moment, 2 points from 5 games I really think is not really good results at all for a team of Leeds. You'd think everyone's thinking, is it going to be a second season syndrome or are they going to be a mid-table team like they were last year? Well, at the moment, if we're looking, like I said, they're starting to get found out. People are adjusting to their style and then they're just breaking them every time now.
And to me, you've got to balance. It's result. I was on a show this morning talking about this with Arsenal. You've got to separate results and performance. And I mean, as an Arsenal fan, I know this probably better than both of you two do. You can play the nicest football in the world like we did for years in Wenger's later years. We were still playing attractive football. But we weren't winning. We weren't winning titles. We weren't winning Champions Leagues. We weren't winning things. So it doesn't matter how beautiful your attacking football is if at the end of the 90 minutes you're not walking back with 3 points. So I do think Bielsa, for me, gets plenty of love. I think it's part of that Leeds narrative. Like they are still a big club, but they dropped right down. They've come back up. It had been a long time, and their fans, notorious over there. I think it was just a bit of the narrative, and the media got really carried away with it. Now they're settling in to where they should be, for me. Yeah.
And look, to be honest, boys, I think we're all in agreement on this one. And the live chat they concur with our sentiment that, aesthetically can only take you so far. For me, it all comes back to expectation, where the fans, if they see some signs of progress, they'll stay patient to a certain extent. But like we said, and we jokingly say about Chelsea being in the business of winning, that there is a little bit of truth in that, because at the end of the day, there's no point having an extensive highlights reel if you're back in the championship, which that's obviously a dramatic comparison. But the notion of, you've got to have the result to back up the niceties, it's a truism. Now, I've noticed there's almost 20 people in the live chat, but we're under 10 likes. So, guys, we need to pick up your game in the live chat. Smash that like button and tell us to your friends. We're on 400 in case you've just joined us now, on the fast track on the road to 500. And all of a sudden, we're going to be bigger than Ben-Hur. So get on the bandwagon now while you can. Legs are Rooney. I like this point you made here. Good point. Style versus results. How long can you focus and win the ugly? It's a truism, isn't it? Like we said, it's all about being the best place you can finish in the Premier League. And speaking of the top end of town sort of aspirational teams, Rob, there was a big game involving your boys, and Daniel's going to hopefully give us a bit of an update on the predictions and the scores later. I did predict West Ham to get a draw against United, and there was a bit of that was so close yet so far for me, because obviously we all saw Mark Noble came on, super sub, blew it for everybody in the Premier League. There was some match fixing going on with the hair.
This is why we have 400 subs. It's the little things like that make a difference.
Look, Rob, you're going to have to walk us through your heart rate at that time. I'm sure it was 120/80 at one point. Then Lingard scored. It was a 200. Then Mark Noble got the penalty, and I'm sure your heart just completely flatlined. Talk us through it, mate.
I feel like RJ didn't see the bubbles. Did you not just see the bubble show?
I just ignored him.
Hold on.
Is that your daughter's toy?
Yeah, mate. I told the kids come in handy sometimes.
We've just lost 400 subscribers.
What can I say, boys? We burst the West Ham bubble, as I like to say. And look, boys, my heart rate was going through the roof. I didn't do a reaction video on purpose this week because I was very emotional. Let me say at full time, my phone copped an extra crack on the screen from throwing it when we conceded that 90th minute penalty. But look, man, I actually think I'm a positive Rob this week. I was quite happy with the performance, man. To go away to West Ham. They're West Ham in the last 1 or 2 years are a good team, and to go away and get a result in the end, I thought majority of the game we dominated. Are we perfect? No. I'll say it 100 times. I still think United have got another 2 or 3 gears to go up, which is if we're still winning and we still got gears to go up, I'm happy with that. I'm going to give a little bit of credit to Ollie because when he was making some of the changes, I can put my hand up and I was screaming at disagreeing with some of them, but everyone gives it to him every week, mate. The 2 changes he made are the people that made the clutch moments. He bring on Matic and he bring on Lingard. Matic got the assist and Lingard with a beautiful finish to at that time. Yeah, well, it was the winner in the end before the whole drama at the end. But you got to give him credit, mate. At the end of the day, we've had good results. Five games in the Premier League, but equal tie on top with you and with Liverpool. So I'm happy, mate. Like I said, it's I thought we were very unlucky in conceding our goal. They had a few chances, but we definitely dominated their shots on target. They got quite a big deflection to go in front, to go up 1-0. But look, I just wish after we conceded the goal for about 5 minutes, our reaction was how I wish we could play from the start. For 4 minutes, we're back equal. But I was saying to people, why can't we play like that from the start, go up 1 or 2-0, and then we're in cruise control and we can have a bit more game management. No, we have to wait to fall behind, and then we've got to react, and it's the hard way. That's what I don't like about us at the moment. We've got the quality to go and do like a Liverpool and get your 2-3 goals up. But no, that's the only thing we've got to get out. We still can't keep that clean sheet, even though it was an unlucky deflection. But like I said, we got the game back. We got the big 3 points in the end. I'm sure we're going to go into all the controversy with all the penalties at the when we talk about the refs, but I really am happy with that result, especially after what happened midweek in the Champions League. I think that was a great reaction.
Yeah, Scott, we'll get your opinion in a minute. Just, Rob, talk us through this point that George has made about Matic and Fred, and we all know about your thoughts about Man United's midfield. What are your thoughts on this?
George knows as well from me being on the podcast a few times. I'm a big fan of Matic, and I wish we had Matic five years ago, Matic, mate. And this team, I would be happy in saying this team could definitely change. Matic is not going to be able to play 38 games this season. When he does play, look, we're going to get good little bits, cameos off the bench like that. But like I said, his best days was at Chelsea, and even maybe
he's pretty good then.
He's a traditional number 6. He drops deep nearly into the back line. He plays forward passes. He can hold. I really, really like. I'm a big Matic fan. Like I said, I wish we had him 5 years ago, and then I think he would definitely cement that number 6 position. But like I said, he's not going to be able to play every game. So whatever we can get out of him is a bonus. And like I said, this week, it came to 10, 15 minutes. He got chucked on. He made the important assist, and we got the 3 points. So beautiful.
Yeah, Scott.
You guys know my thoughts on Ollie. I'm no fan, but his subs worked. I mean, it's almost as if Jesse Lingard can score goals. Who'd have known? It's not like he showed that at West Ham last season, but they are blessed with attacking talent at Man U. So Lingard will need to keep doing that if he wants to stake a claim for a starting position. But they're so stacked. A couple of good comments there, and I'm sure Rob will respond in a minute about whether they're starting to rely on Ronaldo. But fact of the matter is he's scored in every game he's played since he's been at the club. And he's one of the greatest players of all time. So why wouldn't you rely on him? I mean, every attack has that focal point. And you know what? Ronaldo is that focal point, and he is showing again why he is such a great player. You've got Messi who, isn't doing in the French league what Ronaldo is doing in the Premier League. So again, to me, it's just another tick for Ronaldo in that GOAT debate. I've been so impressed with him. So impressed. What do you think, Robbie, about the attack? Are you already starting to rely solely on him? I have no issue with it.
I've got no issue. We brought him to score goals, and that's exactly what he's doing. 4 goals in 3 starts. Like, you know what I mean? Yes, okay, because he's going to get the main goal. Does anyone say this when Harry Kane scores or Lewandowski scores 30 goals a season? No, we brought him to score goals. Yeah, no. He's going to be the focal point. He's our best finisher. He's one of the best finishers in the world. Of course he's going to be headlining the goals.
I don't think the guys were criticising it, though, Robbie, as well, just to put that out there. I just remember you'd made comments when the signing was happening about how you felt Juventus were better off without him because Juve became over-reliant on Ronaldo. So I don't know. I don't think the boys were coming at it that way. But, I mean, you raised that concern. Now it's happening at Man U. Again, if it was my club, I have no issue. He's one of the best of all time.
No, if anything, if they're going to be saying relying, if anything, yes, we're definitely, we've upped our crosses into the box, if that's one thing people are looking at, which is fine. That's the whole point. We've got an aerial threat and a great finisher in the air. So, and like I said, plus he's great. Like I said, he hasn't even, to be honest, hasn't even scored a goal yet with his head. So, like I said, I know the balls are coming in, but he's scored a few different goals. He's scored the 2 tap-ins, which are poacher goals. He's got the one when, like last week, when he got the ball played into him and he beat the guy for pace and still scored. So, yeah, look, I said, of course he's going to be the focal point because he's one of the best in the world at doing what he does. But like I said, he will have times, like I said, I dare say in the League Cup, where he's probably not going to play, and we're going to have our normal people there, or you're going to have your Greenwoods and your Cavani's of the world. So, yeah, I don't think at this stage we can just say, if we don't have Ronaldo, we're not going to be able to do anything because we haven't had him for 12 years and we've still been okay.
Yeah, RJ, let's jump over to your game, man.
Yeah, look, but I would just want to round off a couple of points here because you can't just go and throw messy comments and just, casually walk away. First of all, not the same position. Ronaldo, for all of the criticism he gets, he's a predator. Yeah, he's a tap-in merchant and good on him, but he has to be there to score those goals. He has to have that instinct because not everybody's going to be there and find the right pace, the right finish. So full credit to him for adjusting back into it. Is Messi the main man in PSG when you've got Neymar and Mbappe in those actual positions? No, so they're not the same. So when you're trying to compare the two,
league, mate. It's a Farmers League, not the Premier League. At 36, well, come on, man. Come on.
But you can't say that the supply is the same. So we're going to have that. We're not going to agree on that respectfully. But anyhow, talk about another 36-year-old. Nice segue. Man of the match against the very fast Son, against the Premier League Golden Boot winner, Harry Kane. Where were they? They did that first half. Full credit to Spurs. They came out very strong. They look like a team befitting of honouring a local London derby. But amongst all of that aggression and possession, they fashioned up very little clear-cut opportunities. And that, again, is a testament to just how resilient and robust and well-drilled Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea defence really is. Last night, I used the analogy that Chelsea in the first half were like a bow tie in the sense they were very top-heavy defensively. In the middle, they were quite thin, and attack, they were their own unit. So it's a bit of a bow tie if you can visualize it. But when we talk about managers at the peak of their powers, Thiago Silva, again, was brought in after being very susceptible, you could say, being at his tender years, to the pace of Son and co. But Tuchel knew that he could rely on his seasoned veteran to go and get the job done, even though Andreas Christensen's been in career best form. Antonio Rudiger picks himself. But at half-time, he took off our player of the season, Mason Mount, and made a tactical change, even though he doesn't say it, to bring in N'Golo Kanté, who, Scott, like you said, you're bringing on N'Golo Kanté. It's not rocket science, but it's rocket science to change to different style of play and recognise what wasn't working. We were chalk and cheese in the second half. We looked like the European champions, and we absolutely smashed them. It could have been 6-0 in the end. No joke. Very proud, top of the league. what else is there to say? Boys, did you catch any of it?
Robbie?
Yeah, man, I was up. Obviously, I was still I wasn't going to sleep after our game, so I said I watched the first half live. If I'm going to be honest with you,
Yeah.
so I went to bed at half time. But like exactly how you said, I went and watched the rest of the game after during the day. But Tottenham came out and I thought were really good. You guys, I don't think registered a shot on target in the first half. They were having a bit of a go, but then just exactly what you said. You made the change, and wow, man, and to think that 3-0 it ended up and none of your attackers got on the score sheet is just, it's a compliment to Chelsea all over the pitch at the moment. Like, you just concede one goal all season. You guys must go into every game just thinking that no one's going to get past you, no one's going to score a goal. So as long as you get a Lukaku or anyone to jump in and score a goal, you guys are going to get the 3 points at the end of the day. So look, you guys are marching on and you guys look very, very good for that title at the moment, as I said from the start of the season.
RJ, do you want to address that before I start?
Yeah, and then you could continue to slander him in the live chat with Concierge. So I'll answer that while that's taking place. So will Timo be used as facilitator, an old school Benzema? Look, to be honest with you, he keeps creating these chances. We keep calling him his new position, the space creator, because he's not a real finisher at heart. I actually liked his link up with Lukaku, and I think that as long as he can continue to contribute direct goal contributions, goal or assist, I'm happy with that. Would I like him to chip in a few more goals and obviously get himself on the score sheet? Yeah, for sure. But personally, I'm not sure if he's going to be the primary choice in that front three. I still think Havertz and Mount will be the dominant choice. But with Tuchel, what he's blessed with is options, because you've got Ziyech, you've got Pulisic, who's about to come back from injury, and of course you've got the wild card in Hudson-Odoi, who he can always play in that top left-hand side. So for me, if the more that Timo Werner continues to add positive impact to the match, we might very well play two up top, because someone like Romelu Lukaku is very good at pulling defenders apart. And even Timo, with the runs he makes, even in a low block, he's very good at disrupting a very well-drilled defense. So definitely not the end for someone like Timo, but I'm not sure if he'll have that same sort of impact like a Benzema, because he's his own type of class player, in my opinion. Scott, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, and again, big ups to everyone in the live chat. Absolutely pumping. Please make sure you smash that like button.
Spot on.
We're on a positive momentum run at the moment, and you guys are a huge part of that. But for me, Chelsea are doing exactly what I'd expect them to do. With your squad, your manager, your owner, I expect nothing less from Chelsea. In saying that, I didn't expect that you would be as dominant as you are against some of your rivals, but credit to Thomas Tuchel. He's got his squad just performing in an efficient manner. Everyone seems to be doing what they've got to do. They know their role. They know what they should be doing. And you're looking sharp. I wanted to ask you, RJ, and you know this isn't banter. This is not me bantering, because you know my feelings on this player. Mason Mount. I don't watch anywhere near the amount of Chelsea that you do. But I have seen around, there's been a lot of talk. He seems to have quietened down a little bit this season. Has he quietened down? Am I off the mark? And if he has, what do you think's going on? Is it just a dip? Is it something you should be worried about? Is it a positional issue? Or is he just doing what he's meant to do?
No, not really. Look, he hasn't had the best couple of games, and I'd say that with even someone like Kai Havertz. I think the reality is they played at such a high intensity, particularly Mason Mount. Remember, he played all the way through to the final of the Euros, and he is someone that plays at in crazy intensity. But for me, it's actually a nice thing for him to be able to not have a bit of a dip, but somewhat come down from those dizzying, consistent heights he's been playing with, and it'll actually allow him to reset and refocus and allow other players to step up, because for too much last season, he was really the point of difference along with a couple of other players that were at that real high level. So that's the issue. When you've got someone that's performing that high, the moment that they dip ever so slightly, they get called out for it. Yeah. But for me, it's definitely not panic stations just yet. And in fact, what it's allowed is that players who don't get enough credit, Mateo Kovacic, the Croatian sensation. It's the number 8 jersey at Chelsea that's really seemed to have settled well into him, because ever since that number change, he's been really, really silky this season. Like the amount of progressive passes, the assists, the goal he scored the other week against Villa. This guy here, and I try not to make these outrageously bold claims, pun intended, that he could really achieve something special in the game because he's got it all. He's really good at beating the press, his acceleration and dribble on the ball, and some of those passes, like against you guys, the pass he did to unlock Lukaku, he's a talented player. So watch him. So Jorginho, him, and obviously Kante, that's an engine room worth cherishing. So, yeah, very impressed with that second half.
Spot on. And look, I get your point on Mason Mount, because I think we're seeing, on our end, we're seeing the same thing with Bukayo Saka. Like, he's not looked the same way he looked last season. Both these kids have played the full off-season. They went through that roller coaster with the England team, so might be time for them to have a little bit of a rest for a couple of games, potentially, which isn't as big a problem for you guys with your squad as it would be for us. But true. Maybe both our clubs have asked a lot of these teenagers. So,
this is a good comment here. I get the feelings are very good, but it is an interesting point. Actually, you do get made that comparison. So, like the context again is very important for his age. You know, the guy 2 seasons ago left Derby, walked into a Chelsea side that had a transfer struggle, became one of the top players there. Next season went on to win the Champions League and the Chelsea Player of the Year. So his rise has been meteoric. So definitely not going to pull the curtains on him just yet. But another game, boys, because let's move on from Chelsea, although we could talk about them for 5 hours. But I know the crowd won't want that. I know, I speak for myself. A game which was really interesting, and I watched it live, was the Brighton-Leicester clash. Now, we have said repeatedly last season, Brighton are a team that deserves to get more respect. The ladder is telling us a bit of a fib here. This season, I'm not saying they're going to finish top 4, would be a very nice story, but they're getting a little bit more return for their investment, so to speak. And I won't say that they were absolutely blowing Leicester off the park, because Leicester had their chances and they played well in patches. They're an interesting subplot about how Leicester's going. But focusing on Brighton for a moment, it's nice to see that the style of play that they bring each week, especially working with the constraints of the talent that they have, Potter's doing a sensational job to maximize the value from these players. And as you can see, top 4 wins, one draw, I believe, or one loss, sorry.
One loss.
But look at that. Like, who would have predicted that so far? I know it's 5 games in, but I tell you what, that's a team there that's going to surprise a few people this season. What do you boys think, Robbie?
Oh, yeah, I completely agree with you, man. Like I said, the Kings of the XG last year, and it just wasn't turning over. Mate, this year, the big difference is they're putting the ball at the back of the net, and you can see on the table that they're getting the points that they deserve. And look, they do. For a a lesser team, I think they play really nice attacking football, man. They're not one of those teams that sit there and get a bit of a smash and grab or counter attack. They actually go and, they play nice football, and I'm happy for them that they're getting results this year. Like I said, I've seen the goals. There was a bit of controversy as well. Like, again, they'll probably come up later on, but man, I think it was Morpay got the penalty, and then Danny Welbeck with a free header. But look, good on them, man. That once most of the game they were 2-0 up before Vardy, I think it was, with a really nice team goal. They pegged it back, but I'm really happy for them. And look, they're one of those teams that in the past 2 years, 3 years, we said, I never thought they're going to go down. They're always going to stay there, but they could do like a Sheffield done a couple of years ago. At the moment, they've started great. So if they keep pile on those points and goals, why not? Why can't they push for maybe a Europa spot or a Conference League spot at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think you boys have said it pretty well. Look, last season I kept saying XG doesn't matter. Getting close doesn't matter. What matters is putting the ball in the net, winning games. I know it's a simplistic kind of view, but we are seeing now this season that the difference between XG and what I like to call AG, actual goals. They're putting the ball in the net and it's getting 3 points. So credit to Potter, because he is working with a squad that, you wouldn't look at their squad on paper and say, oh, I'd love to manage that squad in the Premier League. So he's getting the best out of the players and the structures that he has available. So big credit to him, massive credit to him.
Yeah, just want to get your thought. Well said, by the way, but I just want to get your thoughts from Declared's comment here about the Europa League taking its toll on a team like Leicester. So you showed us the ladder just then, Scott, and it's obviously mixed reactions in terms if you're a Foxes fan, and we know we have some great Foxes fans that give us a follow and are great supporters of the show. We are very big on Brendan Rodgers. We all have a mutual respect for him in this group. But I think he's got a bit of a job on his hands to sort of start to wrestle the momentum back, because I think now, again, it's only early days, so let's not get too excited. But for a team like Leicester, who aren't blessed as a Chelsea or United or a Man City in terms of resources, traditionally they've done a very good job at making do with what they've got, and in some instances actually upgrade where you think they're going to be substantially weakened. But I think it's at a point in the season where they really need to start being crystal clear on what's the priority for them. Are they going to focus on trying to get as top as they can to the Premier League summit, or are they going to really try to focus on getting into Europe via that Europe, or the Champions League via the Europa League route? So, they're at a little bit of a crossroads now, because all of a sudden they're at mid-table land. They get a couple more of these bad results and a draw here or drop more points, and the gap starts becoming a little bit more daunting. And we know the competitions as it has intensified this season, as we saw. The top half of the ladder, there's a handful of candidates where you wouldn't think would be there at this time of the season, but are. And if they don't really get their act together, they're going to be in a real dogfight to sort of be on the right side of the half, the Premier League half ledger. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Leicester do prioritise, because I had them, as you know, in the preview of the season. I thought they were going to improve last season and be in and around that top 4, top 6 conversation. But Chelsea Perspective's got a comment here that I wanted to bring up. Yeah, what's his name? Iheanacho. Yeah, so he's a top attacking player. Harvey Barnes has obviously come back for them, and Vardy's their point person. But to me, Leicester's problem is all at the back. And Robbie, you brought up the whole refereeing inconsistency, and we'll talk about it, but it wasn't a penalty for me. I'll just come out and say it. I know he's put his arm up, guilty as charged. The guy's Morpay has pulled him into that position, and he's fallen.
His arm down there. Exactly.
Exactly. That, to me, I look at it as, what's the driver of that reaction? If Morpay doesn't pull him down, Vestergaard doesn't put his arm up like that. Was it a stupid thing to do? Of course it was. But
yes,
one action caused the reaction. And I think they got that one wrong. But we'll get to the consistency problem. The next game I wanted to sort of just get your thoughts on, because I'm just moving forward, was the Everton game. I did see it back, and I thought I was pretty surprised with the outcome. Just trying to
3-0.
Yeah. So I thought, wow, big result there. So did you guys happen to catch it at all?
I didn't catch that one, no.
Yeah, and I was quite interested to see what the group thought, but I won't harp on it too much then if nobody else actually caught it, to be honest. Obviously, Villa gave them a bit of a spanking, and as you boys will recall, I thought Aston Villa were quite unlucky against us. I didn't think they deserved to win, but the way that they started that game and responded to going 1-0 down, I didn't see this result being as emphatic as it was, but I was definitely unsurprised that Villa walked away with all 3 points. But 3-0 against someone as, formidable as Everton was quite a surprise result. And also, talking about 3-0s, Liverpool again continued their march towards back to the Premier League summit, and actually are on equal goal difference with Chelsea. But I don't know what you guys thought, because I also did watch that game and spoke to a few Liverpool fans afterwards. That it wasn't a 3-0 result. Like, it wasn't. They were the dominant team. Palace did create a few opportunities, but I thought that the scoreline was a little bit flattering for them. I'm not sure if you guys caught any of the extended highlights or anything. So to me, it was one of those situations where Liverpool have been really good this season, but that one was a scoreline that was a little bit flattering, I thought.
Go on, Robbie. You go, man.
No, I was the same. I seen the goals, man, so it probably doesn't tell the full story, man. I think it was pretty close to half time. I think he got the first one, and I know Salah got one, and who was it? Was it Naby Keita scored the rocket late
volley, wasn't it?
Yeah, great volley. So yeah, look, if I'm sure the 3-minute highlights didn't show what you're saying was a bit of a flattering score. So yeah, I won't be able to talk much about it.
Yeah, look, I just think Liverpool quietly in the background, chipping away, bringing 3 points every week. People seem to just be talking really about Chelsea and United, and not as much on Liverpool. I don't know why that is. They're just kind of, and I don't think Jurgen Klopp would mind them just kind of doing what they're doing quietly over in the corner. I'm looking forward to seeing them clash with more of the big boys, to see them medal in their squad. But Mo Salah again scoring, helping me in Fantasy Premier League.
Absolutely.
Helping us all.
Yeah. So, no, but it's certainly been an interesting game week. And, yeah, African Cup of Nations will have a big impact.
Yep.
So I think they do have – that is interesting. And correct me if I'm wrong, George, or whoever else has actually got the fixtures in front of them. But I believe that they do have a kind of run during that period. So it's not as binary to say they're going to lose a few quality players and the results are going to start to be a bit sobering for them. So they might be able to get their way through that because of the opposition. But, there's no given result in the Premier League, so we can't just assume things are going to happen based on what's on paper. Daniel brought up an interesting point here that I want to show you, gents, because it was quite a bizarre set of events with Man City and certain managers asking for fans to turn up to the stadium. So, just as a bit of a subplot, it's pretty crazy what's going on with Manchester City. They are the reigning Premier League champions. They have a very, very talented squad, and they have shown on a few occasions this season that when they get going, they're pretty hard beasts to stop. But, the Saints came marching in on this game and they weren't able to get the job done. What did you guys think of this quite quick clash quickly?
Mate, firstly, credit to the Saints and Hasenhüttl, mate, to take points off both Manchester clubs and West Ham, I believe. That's massive, man. I had them going down at the start of the season. And to go to the champions at home and to get a result like that, and for me, I think they should have actually got the penalty, another big controversial decision at the end, and won the game. I think that's massive. And I know no one really knows a lot of City fans, but that's a bad result for City. They should be at home. They should be pumping that Southampton team. They get a 0 draw, and I feel like no one's even batted an eye at it. So far, they've had a loss and a draw out of 5 games this season. That's, we all know that they definitely got enough in the tank, like we've seen last year too. Once they get on a run, they can go on a 15-game run. But at the moment, they're not performing at the moment. They spent $100 million on Jack Grealish. She's been good. But City haven't been ticking like the perfect engine that they normally have, or usually are normally. So, yeah, I think keep an eye on it. I've called at the start of the season. Like I said, it was a bit of a stupid call, but I said, I just have a feeling that they're not going to win any silverware this year. I just don't think it's going to happen for them. I don't know if it's even a bit of pep might be kind of, okay, it's just, I'm here. I think slowly he's, I think it's been a couple of press conferences, dropped a couple of things, say maybe another 1 or 2 years and then I'm off kind of thing. So,
yeah, or if the fans aren't happy with me,
yeah,
I'm happy
like
to leave. So sort of dropping these little nuggets that I'm out.
You know what I mean? So, look, They registered 1 shot on target in the whole game at home with all the firepower they have. So, like I said, credit again to the Saints. Well done. Great point for them.
Yeah, I think Robbie's wrapped that up well. Look, City have all the creativity in the world, but they don't have that sole player at the front to create for. So I think that's going to come back and bite them. You can only get away with not having a proper striker for so long. And they did remarkably well last season. I didn't see it carrying on this season. So, this is what happens when you don't sign a striker. And you, to me, I find that it's disrespectful to the position. To be completely honest, to go out there thinking you can win without having a forward. Mr. Sparks, brilliant comment, man. Love that.
Love it. This is part of the fun of the show, to be honest. And look, you brought up a good point, Scott. That's what happens when you don't invest in the marquee striker. And then conversely, you look at our club, and that's what happens when you do. Like, look where we are. He's a big part of that, Romelu Lukaku. And again, early days. But no, I've said that now, and watch City go win the next 30 games 5-0 in a row, and we all look very silly. But in all seriousness, there is, I'm with you boys on this one. There is something boiling over there, and there's just a little bit of cohesiveness issues there, both on and off the field. There's something just not quite right in the home of the Premier League champions. But speaking of champions, I'm the reigning, tipster champion. Robbie, I believe you have a bit of an update, mate. I'm not sure how happy I'm going to be about this, but share with us, please.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not going to be happy. Yes, you are still on top, RJ. I'm leading the charge on 34. I'm behind you 32. And Scott's caught up a little bit, 29 this week. So we're still all being quite consistent. You are at the top still, so we're running you down the
We'll just clip that, Rob. We'll just clip that. I'm on top. Let's just summarize it, mate. I'm top again.
For now.
For now, yeah. Forever. Excellent. Look, boys, and the live chat again, been buzzing. Please, as we've said many times, hit 400 subscribers now. We're ready to take on BBC and TalkSport and the rest of the giants out there. Smash that like button, share it with your friends. We're coming for the Champions League. We're coming for everybody. But we're here for the serious talk now, the refereeing standards. Now, there was a change at the start of the season where we're starting to see a lot more leniency and let the game go on type of mentality. And as an old school sort of fan, which I do like sprinkles of change when I can see the clear benefit, it has been a refreshing change to see the game just played at a more natural pace and to really call out the, I call them the fakesters, the ones that are just going down looking for fouls and all of the softies out there. But with that comes more elements of interpretation issues and have they gotten it right? And are we really getting a better product for the sake of easier on the eye football? Now, Robbie, I know you've had some strong feelings about some of the decisions, and we brought up the Mopay penalty issue, which we spoke about. We both agreed that it shouldn't have been a penalty. And Scott, you brought up Ramsdale, where VAR got it right, in our opinion. But let's talk about some of the controversies and just your general thoughts about what we're seeing with these new relaxed interpretation. Rob, I'll go to you first.
Well, mate, like I said, I think the referees this season started quite okay. We had no issues, but, mate, this week was an absolute mare. And not just 1, 2, there was about 3 or 4 games that had really big controversial decisions. But the worst thing is that they stayed wrong. Like, and the whole thing of having the technology these days is to get it right. So just a couple of examples. For the City game, number 1, the whole thing with the whole overturning thing is it's supposed to be a clear and obvious to be overturned. The referee called a red card for Kyle Walker and a penalty to Saints. Now, that was the right call for everyone else in the whole world. It's a clear-cut penalty. He's been taken down in the box of a goal-scoring opportunity. He sends him off. He points to the spot, and then the VAR comes in and says they take away the red card and they take away the penalty. Now, I don't know in what world you can say that the referee made a clear and obvious mistake to overturn that call. That's a massive turning point for that game. On our one, mate, I think between the two teams, they're not even going to just be biased to us. There could have been nearly 4 penalties in that game. The one that was given at the end, I'm fine with. Shaw had his arm outstretched. That's a pen for me. I'm not arguing that one at all. But I'll even say, firstly, I'll go to the West Ham one. I think it was Aaron Wan-Bissaka made a challenge. For me, I was screaming, "Oh my God, that's a pen!" And like, I don't even know how. I don't even think VAR even got to check at number 1 because I was definite that was a penalty for me. But in the second half, look, maybe one of them he would have went over a bit. I'll say he went over a little bit easy. But there was 2 clear-cut stonewall penalties for Ronaldo in that second half. One on Kufal, I think it was, and one from Kurt Zuma after we scored the winning, the 2-1. It was late on. We was charging and he got taken down. Clear cut as day, and to not even check the screen. That's the whole point. The referee, the man on the pitch, is supposed to make the final decision. If the VAR thinks he's made a wrong call, or he should be at least checking something that is a call like a 50-50. He never went to the pitch side on the side to check it out for himself. I don't know how the VAR didn't intervene and say, "Hey mate, I think you need to check this. This is definitely a penalty. Go have a look at it." No, he calls the play on. And at that point, we were 2-1 up. We could have had the penalty. Like I said, I'm not saying we're going to score the penalty, but we could have went 3-1 up, and that game's dead with 2 minutes to go. What happens? Like I said, we end up conceding a penalty. Lucky De Gea come up big for us and got the save to get us the 3 points. But it's early days. But points like that, we could have, instead of gaining 3 points, we could have had a 1-1 draw there. And then, every point counts, as we all know, in the Premier League season. I think there was one other one. Look, touch and go, different people are going to have different opinions in that Leicester game as well. I think for the 2-2 equaliser, I thought that was, look, that one was a little bit more fair. I don't think that was as clear a cut. I think it could have been Harvey Barnes that might have, or one of the players was standing in front of Schmeichel on the header, and he was offside, but the guy that headed it was all fine. So I don't know if that was because he was in the line of the keeper that kind of chalked that off, but I just think it's too many bad calls, and not even in the Premier League. I don't know if, I'm sure everyone's seen it. Did anyone see that Luton guy that went over and absolutely kicked the crap out of the other player in the Swansea?
It was a dive, mate. It was a dive.
And he gets a yellow card. How is that even possible? Honestly.
Rob, do you think with Ronaldo, and again, I'm not bantering you because you know my thoughts on Ronaldo. Do you think it's a little bit of almost boy who cried wolf? That because he does have a bit of a reputation as I love the player. I think he's probably the best of all time, but because he's such a notorious sook and he does go down pretty easily, do you think it's a case that when he's doing that, and I know you guys aren't used to not getting a call your way, I know you're probably feeling a bit rough, Robbie, but do you think because he has that reputation that refs maybe are less inclined to go and check that monitor and to go and use the time? I know they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't, because if it's there, you got to use it. But I think his reputation hurts him.
I definitely think players have reputations. Salah is another one. Neymar's another one, right? But at the end of the day, a referee has to call the game on what happened. You can't just say he's got a reputation. You've got to call it on the rules, mate. If it's a clear-cut penalty, you can't say,
he's in the moment.
He's got a history of going down. I'm not going to give him the penalty or check it. You can't do that, okay? Because, yes, I guarantee there was 3 calls that he went down for, and one, I even said that he could have got booked after, I think it was the second one, because it looked like he kind of went down too easy. But 2 of them were clear-cut, and for them not to check that on the VAR, that's... Honestly, I think that the refs should be suspended or cop fines after that, mate.
They never do, mate. There's no punishments.
They should be called out, and I just think it's terrible refereeing, mate.
Yeah, look, to be honest with you, I look at this as just the reopening of old wounds that, if we go back, if we all said, let's do a homework assignment, go back and talk about all the controversial calls over the last 2 or 3 seasons, even a little bit more, we'd all have the same message that they continue to happen. And the only problem is our expectations should be shifting, because the whole point of the VAR was to reduce the likelihood of these grievous errors occurring. But the problem is it's the people in FA, because we've seen the administration of VAR in other leagues continue to not have as much controversy. So we continue to identify the root cause being the one type of agency using this in an incorrect way. But the cynic in me kind of thinks that there's other ulterior motives at play here, where it's almost as if certain people, certain individuals kind of thrive off the controversy and creating a theatre where the more decisions have a 50-50 boundary on something, it just depends on what narrative they're trying to drive. And as you said, Robbie, like if United are in the top of the tree or trying to race for the Premier League, but the narrative is it would actually help the general narrative if they drop points this week because it makes Chelsea a little bit closer, or vice versa. I do think there's a lot of gaming that goes on. I think we're very naive to think that they're just consistently incompetent game in, game out, because to me, how can they be professionals at the top of the game with the technology and knowing the rule book off by heart to continuously be inconsistent, without any other motive in the background. To me, that there's something dodgy going on there. I don't know.
Not even that. Certain referees, after all this time, shouldn't referee certain games. I think I can't remember who the referee that Chelsea aren't a big
Anthony Taylor. He's our best friend. He's great.
We've got a few of them, and it's consistent. It's like when they announce who's refereeing your game. We're going to have trouble. We're not going to get calls. We're going to get everything against us this week. There should be. You'd think there'd be a time certain refs shouldn't, because there is bias, or there is certain teams that just have really bad records, and it's when it's consistent, they shouldn't be allowed to officiate the game.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think there's any grand conspiracy. I think
conspiracy.
But I mean it is. If you're kind of saying that refs are making decisions based on a narrative, then that's exactly what that is. It's
but not a targeted goal. I think it changes. I don't think it's a grand conspiracy in that sense where we want Manchester City to win and that's the narrative. I just think it depends on what's evolving each week.
I just think they're poor. I just think that the refs are poor. I think Mr. Sparks was the one that said it. I think they're a poor standard, and it's one of them things. Sometimes it can be so technical, and it can depend how you've looked at it. You see it on Twitter and all social media. Sometimes a clip of a decision can be put up, and you can have both sides who have seen one decision completely differently. Like, I don't know, but to me, I just think that they're a poor standard. On a positive note, though, I think it's Jared Gillett. Yes. First Aussie to ref a Premier League game. So he's doing that this weekend. I can't remember exactly which game, but big ups to him. But it is interesting. I feel we've talked about the refs less this season already. So I do think it's improved somewhat from last season, but still not up to scratch.
Yeah, look, to be honest with you, I understand that train of thought about it's just them all being incompetent. But as someone that likes to operate with reason and ration and just being reasonable about things, how can the best league in the world with the most money, the most technology, continuously deliver incompetent outcomes? To me, I have to ask the question. You know what I mean? Because it's not as clear cut. But I think now, on a lighter note, and what the crowd is really in for, not just to unpack the week that was, but let's talk dollars and cents with Fantasy Premier League. We love it. It's infectious. How did we do this week, Scott?
Yeah, look, I had a decent week. I'm going to chuck up the table because we've had a change at the leaderboard. Congratulations, Ben. You have taken the top spot in there at the moment.
Taught him everything he knows, mate.
We've got Ben at the top, Chajoke sitting in second. Ben had a really good week. I know that you have also moved up too, Robbie. Good friend of ours, Nick, is sitting in 10th position. Nick's birthday was yesterday too, so happy birthday to you, Nick. We'll scroll down to look for Rob. There's Rob in 18th.
18th, yep.
I think I moved up as well.
I think you're 43rd. RJ's actually moved right up. I think he's not far behind you as well.
It's pretty hard to go backwards where I started.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah, 45th there and RJ 49th. So very close. But I'm really looking forward to Thursday night's show and speaking about some of the changes and the lineups. But
Ben said he's doing his homework. Ben, I don't know about doing your homework, mate. Who you paying? Tell us. DM me later, mate.
Yeah, I can see George has chucked a comment in the live chat saying he got rid of Ivan Toney. I said to myself I was giving him one more week, and I'm really glad I did this week.
Oh, I don't know. I had a couple of changes, but Salah for me, captain, was a bit of an improvement. Obviously, I had Trent Alexander-Arnold who didn't play, so that went swimmingly for me.
Lukaku messed me up.
I got him in as well. Oh, of course. The three players, get this, you'll have a laugh. Mount, Havertz, Lukaku all had stinkers, like in their standards for that game. I'm just going to draft them out and watch them get a 5-goal contribution next week. That's just how it goes with me, unfortunately.
I've had Tony since week 1, and I'm like, okay, I'll pull the plug on him. I'll put Jimenez in because Wolves look like they have a bit of a good fixtures. What happened? He gets like 12 points into double thing. Ben Rama was good. I had Ben Rama. I had, like I said, Captain
he was
Captain
good.
Mo, which was good. same thing. I had a few out. Luke Dean scored an own goal. He got 0. Trent Alexander-Arnold was out. I had a couple people out, but my bench kind of sat. Mr. Your man, Ben White, got me a clean sheet, which was good. And I think I still got Simicast from Liverpool.
Should have gave away a penalty, Rob.
He got me some points as well. So, yeah, look, I haven't played my wild card yet, boys. I got a pretty good score. Again, I think I got mid-60s, but I am thinking I'm going to hit the wild card soon. I think I'm going to get one of the big boys. I think Lukaku is coming in soon. Chelsea have a very good they've got about 7-8 good fixtures after this City game, so I think he's going to be made into the team soon.
And while we are on the topic of games and things outside of the Premier League, FIFA 22 coming out soon. I know we'd have some FIFA players in and around this channel. I know some of you boys are tied up with pro clubs teams already and have your plans for the season. But if you do not have a pro clubs team for this season and you're playing on the PS5, hit me up on Twitter, hit us up via email. Let me know, because I want to chuck together an It's a Football Thing pro clubs team on FIFA 22 this year. So you won't have to do much because you'll have me in the team and I'll bang in the goals for fun. But if you're interested in that, like I said, reach out to me on Twitter, email us, because I would love to get some of you in there. I know the United boys have their team, so I wouldn't mind giving them a bit of a spanking if they don't make 2 characters and join us. So keep your eyes peeled for that too.
Yeah, Borgie, I don't think I'm going to be hinting. I don't think Tom's going to let me hand in a transfer request, all right? So we'll have to see what happens there.
Mate, that's all right. We only want high quality here. But I don't know if you can make 2 characters, maybe play for 2.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that, because
we'll check that out.
You have to negotiate offline, I think. But speaking of offline, I think that's where we should start, Ed Bridgeton. We've just breached an hour and 2 minutes. Where did the time go? We've had an absolute ball in the live chat again. Buzzing as usual, keeps us motivated. But for me personally, it's been a top week in the Premier League. I've been really enjoying what the football we've seen, and even with the Serie A too. I know it's a Premier League show, but it's been really interesting seeing what's happening across the top leagues in Europe. For us, I'm really excited to see we've got the Carabao Cup with Villa, and we're going to have our preview show on Thursday. So if you haven't had a chance, again, if you're new to the show, like and subscribe. We will do our preview of the upcoming match week on Thursday, same time, 8:30 p.m. Australia, 11:30 a.m. UK time. What a session, boys. Any final thoughts? Scott, you first, my man.
Look, we're hoping that we have a special guest join us on Thursday, but not in the position to announce anything at the moment, because
no, here we go just yet.
Oh, geez, mate. This guy, can we remove him from the stream? Declared, this is what we don't. Declared's asked in the live chat if I've played Rob on FIFA. Yes, I have, Declared, and it usually ends one way, my man. Rob's Mr. Pro Clubs, but I'm Mr. FIFA. So it has to be PS5 though, Ben. I think you all have to be on that same console. So, and look, Robbie's not arguing with me, so that's how you know I'm speaking facts.
Borgie, I am a very good player, but you can't say I'm not. Yes,
oh,
yes, you are a little bit above me. Yes, I will say it, but I'm very happy to say I'm a very good player.
Yeah, no, all good. Boys, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to Thursday talking the North London derby. Like, to me, that's a huge match, and I can't wait to unpack it a little bit with you both.
It'll be really interesting to find out who's London's third best club after Chelsea and Crystal Palace. So it'll be good.
Absolutely.
Robbie, any final thoughts, mate?
Nah, look, guys, looking forward to Thursday as always. It's nice to have the 2 shows a week, get to see everyone double the time. So, yeah, look forward to seeing you all there. Be safe, and we'll see you on Thursday night.
Couldn't have said it better, gents. Again, to the live chat, thanks very much. Stay safe, and we'll catch up with you on Thursday.
Take care.